Lady Galadriel, said Gimli, bowing low and stammering. Nothing, unless, it might be, unless it's permitted to ask. Nay, to name a single strand of your hair, which surpasses the gold of the earth as the stars surpass the gems of the mine. I do not ask for such a gift, but you commanded me to name my desire. The elves stirred and murmured with astonishment, and Celeborn gazed at the dwarf in wonder, but the lady smiled. It is said that the skill of the dwarves is in their hands rather than in their tongues, she said. Yet that is not true of Gimli, for none have ever made me a request so bold and yet so courteous. And how shall I refuse, since I commanded him to speak? But tell me, what would you do with such a gift? Treasure it, lady, he answered, in memory of your words to me at our first meeting. And if I ever return to the smithies of my home, it shall be set in imperishable crystal, to be an heirloom of my house and a pledge of goodwill between the mountain and the wood until the end of days. Then the lady unbraided one of her long tresses and cut off 3 golden hairs and laid them in Gimli's hand. These words
Solve.
The gift. I do not foretell.
3 plus 1 equals.
On the one hand lies darkness,
Add.
and on the other only hope. But if
3 plus 1
fail,
equals.
then I say to you, Gimli, son of Gloin, that your hand
Solve.
shall flow with gold.
Solve.
Over you gold.
1 plus 1 equals.
And you, ring-bearer, she said, turning to Frodo, I come to you last, who are not last in my thoughts, for I have prepared this. She held up a small crystal vial. It glittered as she moved it. Rays of white light sprang from her hand.
2 plus 2
vial,
equals.
She said, is caught the light of Arundel's star, set amid the waters of my fountain. It will shine still brighter when night is about you. May it be a light to you in dark places, when all other lights go out. Remember Galadriel and her mirror. Frodo took the vial, and for a moment as it shone between them, he saw her again standing like a queen, great and beautiful, but no longer terrible. He bowed, but found no words to say. Now the lady arose, and Celeborn led them back to the height. A yellow noon lay on the green land of the Tongue, and the water glittered with silver. All at last was made ready. The company took their places in the boats as before. Crying farewell, the elves of Lorien with long grey poles thrust them out into the flowing stream, and the rippling waters bore them slowly away. The travelers sat still, without moving or speaking. On the green bank, near to the very point of the Tongue, the lady Galadriel stood alone and silent. And as they passed her, they turned and their eyes watched her slowly floating away from them. For it seemed to them Lorien was slipping backward, like a bright ship masted with enchanted trees, sailing on to forgotten shores, while they sat helpless upon the margin of the grey and leafless world. And even as they gazed, the silver load passed out into the currents of the great river, and their boats turned and began to speed southward. Soon the white form of the lady was small and distant. She shone like a window of glass upon a far hill in the westering sun, or as a remote lake seen from a mountain, a crystal fallen in the lap of the land. Then it seemed to Frodo that she lifted her arms in a final farewell, and far but piercing clear, on the following wind came the sound of her voice, singing. But now she sang in the ancient tongue of the elves, beyond the sea, and he did not understand the words. Fair was the music, but it did not comfort him. Yet as is the way of elvish words, they remained graven in his memory, and long afterwards he interpreted them as well as he could. The language was that of elven song, and spoke of things little known on Middle-earth. Ai Lauri, lander lassi suranen, yene, you no time, virema elderan. Yeni flint yoldrathene, mi or mordeli merve. Adelan pella, vardo telemar nuluini yastintiller. I ilini o mere, etere, lirinen. Siman, eilmanin, in quantivu, ansite televade, oilos io vivan yard, meriadil and tre ortain, arillier, tirun dalevlumbu, asind and noriel, ketamoni, I falmeler, immet, arhi si un tipo calzari, meri oriel, savanana, rumel vanwa, val lemar, namari, ne, heravale valamar, na iliar, haruva, na marie. Ah, like gold fall the leaves in the wind, long years numberless as the wings of trees. The years have passed like swift trots of the sweet mead in lofty halls beyond the west beneath the blue vaults of Varda, wherein the stars tremble in the song of her voice, holy and queenly. Who now shall refill the cup for me? For now the kindler, Varda, the queen of the stars, from Mount Everwhite, has uplifted her hands like clouds, and all paths are drowned deep in shadow, and out of a grey country darkness lies on the foaming waves between us, and mist covers the jewels of Calcyria forever. Now lost to those from the east, is Valamar. Farewell. Maybe thou shalt find Valamar. Maybe even thou shalt find it. Farewell. Varda is the name of that lady whom the elves in these lands of exile name Elbereth. Suddenly the river swept round a bend, and the banks rose upon either side, and the light of Lorien was hidden. To that fair land Frodo never came again. The travellers now turned their faces to the journey. The sun was before them, and their eyes were dazzled, for all were filled with tears. Gimli wept openly. I have looked, at last, upon that which was fairest, he said to Legolas, his companion. Henceforth I will call nothing fair, unless it be her gift. He put his hand to his breast. Tell me, Legolas, why did I come on this quest? Little did I know where the chief peril lay. Truly Elrond spoke, saying that we could not foresee what we might meet upon our road. Torment in the dark was the danger that I feared, and it did not hold me back. But I would not have come, had I known the danger of light and joy. Now I've taken my worst wound in this parting, even if I were to go this night straight to the Dark Lord. Alas for Gimli, the son of Glóin. Nay, said Legolas, alas for all of us, and for all that walk the world in these after days for such as the way of it, to find and lose, as it seems to those whose boat is on the running stream. But I count you blessed, Gimli, son of Glóin. For your loss you suffer of your own free will, and you might have chosen otherwise, but you've not forsaken your companions, and the least reward that you shall have is the memory of Lorien shall remain ever clear and unstained in your heart, and shall neither fade nor grow stale. Maybe, and I thank you for those words, said Gimli. True words, doubtless, yet all such comfort is cold. Memory is not what the heart desires. It's only a mirror, be it as clear as Gelidzarum, or so says the heart of Gimli the dwarf. Elves may see things otherwise. Indeed, I've heard that for them, memory is more like to the waking world than to a dream. Not so for dwarfs. But let us talk no more of it. Look to the boat. She's too low in the water with all this baggage, and the great river is swift. I do not wish to drown my grief in cool water. He took up a paddle and steered towards the western bank, following Aragorn's boat ahead, which had already moved out of the middle stream. And so the company went on their long way down the wide, hurrying waters, borne ever southwards. Bare woods stopped along either bank, and they could not see any glimpse of the lands behind. The breeze died away, and the river flowed without a sound. No voice of bird broke the silence. The sun grew misty as the day grew old,